Hi, Kent Place School community. Over the past few years, the term risk has taken on a new and important meaning in our school communities. I know at Kent Place School, we've talked a lot about encouraging our students to take positive risks, to go out of their comfort zone so that they can build resilience and grit, and to become those brave and brilliant girls that we know that they are. But in recent weeks, since we've all been living and struggling through this time of the pandemic, the term risk has taken on much new meaning with perhaps much greater consequence. When we think about risk, there are actually different types of risks that we can take. As I just mentioned, what we encourage our students to do, take positive risk so that you can build resilience. It's taking risk with the intent of having some sort of positive outcome that will only better our lives and benefit not only ourselves but others. But there's also that other type of risk that perhaps falls more in line with the term taking a chance. And this type of risk can have unintended consequence not only for us, but for others. It might even perhaps bring greater harm to other people. We've talked about this recently, where people who perhaps are asymptomatic go out into public and they put at risk others who maybe are of a more vulnerable population and who may perhaps become ill. On a larger scale, our society right now is faced with a very, very difficult decision. We want to maintain the health of all the members of our society and our health and safety, but yet our economy is really in tremendous distress and perhaps requires us to come out a bit out of the social isolation and distancing that we've been experiencing over the past month. So, how do we make that decision? And are we willing to take that risk? And what values will inform that decision? And so, whether we're talking about risk taking on a grand or national scale, or risk taking in our own families or as individuals, how do we do so? Well, join us next week as we talk about the concept of risk through an ethical lens to look at the values that must be taken into consideration, the framework that must become a part of our discussion as we look at the potential benefits and harms of risk taking, not only on an individual basis, not only in terms of our family, but the greater community. So join us next week on our website, on our social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook, as we talk about the concept of risk and risk taking and have these discussions using our ethical method and perspectives. Thanks. I hope to see you next week.